Question 1. Non-calculator. Petunia gets $6.45 in pocket money each week. She does extra jobs one week and earns $3.75 more. How much money did Petunia receive in total in the week? Petunia gets $6.45 plus an extra $3.75. So we're going to add these two values together. So writing down $6.45 and then directly underneath writing down $3.75, taking care to line up the decimal points. We're going to add these two values together. So 5 plus 5 is 10. So we're going to write down the 0 and then carry the 1. 1 plus 4 plus 7 is 12. So we're going to write down 2 and then carry the 1. And then 1 plus 6 plus 3 is 10. Just making sure to include the decimal point at the end. So the answer is $10.20. Question 2. Non-calculator. Which of these patterns fits the rule? Double the previous number and deduct 2. The pattern is double the previous number and deduct 2. Now, deducting 2 means to subtract 2. Let's test the first option. Let's start with the 3. 3 times 2 is equal to 6. And then we're going to subtract 2 from 6, and that equals 4. And that gives us the next number along. But just to make sure that the pattern holds true, we need to test the next number as well. So let's start with the 4. Let's double it. We get 8. Then we're going to subtract 2 from that. So 8 minus 2 is equal to 6. But we have 5 instead. So the first option is clearly wrong. Let's test the next option. 3, 6, 12, 24, 48. Starting off with the 3, if we double the 3, we get 6. But then we need to subtract 2. We're meant to get 4. So without even testing it, we know that the second option is wrong. Let's test the third option. 4, 6, 10, 18, 34, and so on. So starting off with the 4, we're going to double it. That gives us 8. Then we're going to take the 8 and subtract 2, or deduct 2. And that equals 6, which happens to be the second number along. So far, this pattern is holding true. Let's test the 6 and the 10. So starting off with the 6, multiplying it by 2, we get 12. Subtracting 2 from 12, we get 10. So 4, 6, 10, those first three numbers follow the pattern. Now just one more test and we'll test the 10 and the 18. Multiplying that by 2, we get 20. Subtracting 20 from 2, we get 18. So I think we're confident to say that this option here is the correct option. 4, 6, 10, 18, 34. Question 3. Non-calculator. Hester placed a leg of lamb into his oven in the morning. The first measurement of the lamb's temperature was -7 degrees Celsius. 15 minutes later, a second temperature reading was taken, which measured 18 degrees Celsius. What was the change in temperature between the two measurements? The first reading is -7 degrees Celsius and the second reading is +18 degrees Celsius. We can use a number line to determine the difference between the two. So there's 0 in the middle. Now positive numbers are to the right hand side of 0, negative numbers are to the left hand side. Now we're starting off with -7. So I'm going to place it here to the left hand side of 0. And it's going to end up at +18 degrees. So it's placed to the right hand side of 0. So starting off at -7 and ending up at 18, it's clearly an increase. So straight away, the first option and the second option are incorrect. Now the number of steps from -7 to 0 is 7. And the number of steps from 0 to reach 18 is 18. So the total number of steps is 7 plus 18, which equals 25. So the answer is an increase of 25 degrees Celsius. Question 4. Non-calculator. An eagle owl sleeps an average of 10 hours a day. What fraction of the day does an average eagle owl sleep? An eagle owl sleeps an average of 10 hours a day, and there are 24 hours in the day. Expressing that as a fraction, that's 10 hours out of 24 hours. Next, we'll need to simplify this fraction. Now, one clue to look for is the fact that both the numerator and the denominator are even, which means they can both be divided by 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 24 divided by 2 is 12. This fraction cannot be simplified any further since there are no common factors apart from the number 1 that divide the 5 and the 12. So the answer is 5 over 12. Question 5. Non-calculator. Bernard wants to buy a tennis racket that has a normal price of $220. He is given a 10% discount. What is the value of the discount? Bernard is given a 10% discount off the normal price of $220. So we'll need to convert this percentage discount into an actual dollar amount. So 10% of $220 is the same as 10% multiplied by $220. In fact, the word of and multiplication are identical in mathematics. And that's the same as 220 divided by 10. So 10% of an amount is identical to taking that amount and dividing it by 10. And that equals to 22. So the answer is $22. Question 6. Non-calculator. On the left-hand side of the square, we have the expression 8 times 2 plus 7 in brackets. On the right-hand side of the square, we have the expression 7 times 2 plus 9. Which symbol, less than, equals, or greater than, makes the number sentence correct? We will need to evaluate the left-hand side, then evaluate the right-hand side, and then compare the value of both sides. So starting off from the left-hand side, we have 8 times 2 plus 7, and applying order of operations, we'll do the brackets first. 2 plus 7 is 9. So 8 times 9 is equal to 72. Now from the right-hand side, that equals to 7 times 2 plus 9. And we do multiplication before addition. So that's equal to 14 plus 9, which equals to 23. Now clearly, 72 is greater than 23. Therefore, the answer is the greater than symbol. Question 7. Non-calculator. The first number in a pattern is 4.25. Each number in the pattern is formed by subtracting 0.55 from the previous number. What is the third number in this pattern? Starting off with 4.25, we're going to subtract 0.55 to get the second number, and then subtract another 0.55 to get the third number. Alternatively, we can start off with 4.25 and then subtract 2 lots of 0.55 to get the third number. So 2 times 0.55 is equal to 1.1. So the third number can be found by taking 4.25 and subtracting from that 1.1. So I'm going to write 4.25 here, and under it I'm going to write 1.1, making sure to line up the decimal points. And wherever there's a gap, I'm going to replace it with a 0. And we're going to subtract these two numbers. So 5 minus 0 is 5. 2 minus 1 is 1. Draw in the decimal point. And 4 minus 1 is 3. So the answer is 3.15. Question 8. Non-calculator. A swim squad normally swims 80 laps per training session. On a light training day, They only do 3/4 of the laps of a normal session. How many laps do they do in a light session? A light training day is 3/4 of 80 laps. So I'm going to write that down. Now the word of can be replaced with the multiplication symbol. So we need to work out what 3/4 multiplied by 80 is. And that can be worked out by starting off with the original amount, which is 80, divided by the denominator. So that works out 1/4 of 80. And then we're going to multiply that result by 3. So 80 divided by 4 is 20. Then we're going to multiply that by 3. And 20 multiplied by 3 is equal to 60. So the answer is 60 laps. Question 9. Noncalculator. A microorganism has a diameter of 0.0008 millimeters. Which number below shows this diameter written in scientific notation? To convert a decimal into scientific notation, start off by writing the decimal, and then work out the number of places we'll need to move the decimal point in order to turn this decimal into a whole number. So starting here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 places. So we've moved the decimal point 4 places, and 0.0008 has now become the number 8. And we can compensate for that, since we can't just turn a decimal into a whole number without multiplying it by some compensating factor. We're going to multiply that by 10 to the power of -4, where this 4 here comes from the number of places we've moved the decimal point, and the negative here means the number that we started off with is a decimal. So the answer is 8 times 10 to the power of -4, and the closest option to that is the first option here. Question 10. Noncalculator. Una used 300 grams of sugar to make 15 cookies. How many grams of sugar will she need to make 25 cookies? It takes 300 grams of sugar to make 15 cookies. So the fraction of sugar required to make 25 cookies will be 25 over 15. Now that's an improper fraction. It's a fraction greater than 1. So the result will be greater than 300. And that makes sense. Since it takes 300 grams of sugar to make 15 cookies, it will require more than 300 grams of sugar to make 25 cookies. So we can take the number 300, and we're going to multiply that by 25 over 15. And to make this multiplication easier, we can simplify the fraction. So 25 over 15, if we divide the numerator and the denominator by 5, since 5 is a common factor of 25 and 15. 25 divided by 5 is 5, and 15 divided by 5 is 3. So what we want is 5/3 of 300. And that can be worked out by taking 300, dividing it by the denominator of 3, and then multiplying it by the numerator of 5. And that equals 300 divided by 3, which is 100, multiplied by 5, which equals 500 grams. Question 11. Noncalculator. Jan is selling tickets for a raffle. Each ticket costs $1.25. Jan sells a total of 40 tickets. How much money does Jan collect for selling the tickets? Each ticket costs $1.25, and Jan sells a total of 40 tickets. So the amount of money Jan makes is 40 multiplied by $1.25. Now to make this multiplication a little easier, we can think of an equivalent situation where Jan sells 20 tickets, which is half of 40, so half the number of tickets, at double the price. So instead of $1.25, it'll be $2.50. So whatever this value is, 40 multiplied by $1.25, it's the same as 20 multiplied by $2.50. Now this is the same as Jan selling 10 tickets at double the price again. So double $2.50 is $5. Now 10 multiplied by $5 is $50. and that is equivalent to 40 tickets at $1.25 per ticket. So the answer is $50. Question 12. Non-calculator. Joel and Clive throw a cricket ball from the boundary of the cricket oval to the wicketkeeper. It takes Joel's throw 3.52 seconds to reach the wicketkeeper. It takes Clive's throw 2.79 seconds. What is the difference in the time taken to reach the wicketkeeper between the two throws? The word difference implies subtraction. So to find the difference between Joel's throw and Clive's throw, we take the larger of the two values and subtract from that the smaller of the two values. So the larger of the two values is 3.52, and we subtract from that 2.79, making sure that when we write the decimals, we line up the decimal points. Now, subtracting decimals is similar to subtracting integers or whole numbers. So we'll start off with the 2 and the 9. So 2 minus 9 we can't do unless we borrow 1 from the 5. So that becomes a 4. And then we write 1 in front of the 2, so it becomes a number 12. 12 minus 9 is 3. Now 4 minus 7 we can't do unless we borrow 1 from the 3. So we'll turn the 3 into a 2 and then lend 1 to the 4, so it becomes 14. Now 14 minus 7 is 7. Then write the decimal point. And 2 minus 2 is 0. So the difference in time taken to reach the wicketkeeper between the two throws is 0.73 seconds. Question 13. The digital clock below tells the time on the 24-hour system. What is the equivalent time in the 12-hour system? With 24-hour time, any time indicated that's 1200 or after is the time in the afternoon. So the first two options are incorrect, since 2025 is after 1200. To work out the time in the afternoon in the 12-hour system, we can take 2025 and subtract from that 1200 to work out the time difference between 2025 and 1200. So 25 minutes minus 0 minutes is 25 minutes, and 20 hours minus 12 hours is 8 hours. So the equivalent time in the 12-hour system is 8:25 p.m. and it's this option here. Question 14. Which one of these numbers is a factor of 51? A factor of 51 is a number that's able to divide 51 without leaving any remainders. So either one of 7, 9, 13 or 17 is able to divide 51 with no remainder. Now one thing to note is that if we take the digits 5 and 1 of the number 51 and add them together, we get 6. And 6 is divisible by 3, which means that 51 is also divisible by 3. So dividing 51 by 3 using short division, 3 into 5 goes once, remainder 2, and 3 into 21 goes 17 times, leaving no remainder. Now 3 is able to divide 51, but so is 17, since 3 times 17 is equal to 51. So 51 has both 3 and 17 as factors. Therefore, the answer is 17. Question 15. Which one of these has the same value as 18 squared? $18 squared, written in expanded form, is 18 multiplied by 18. And 18 is 9 multiplied by 2. So I could write 18 as 9 times 2, and this 18 as 9 times 2. And I can change the order of these values since we're multiplying all the values together, and that does not change the value of the product. So that's the same as 9 times 2, and I can swap these two around, times 2 times 9. Therefore, the answer is this option here. Question 16. What is the value of the expression 7 plus negative 18 minus negative 3. Adding a negative number is equivalent to subtraction, and subtracting a negative number is equivalent to addition. So basically, where we have a plus minus or a minus plus, that can be replaced with a minus, and where we have a minus minus, that can be replaced with a plus. So rewriting this statement, we have 7 minus 18 plus 3. The next stage is to evaluate this statement. Now to make it a little bit easier, we can swap the negative 18 and the positive 3 around. So we have 7 plus 3 minus 18. And 7 plus 3 is 10 minus 18, which is the same as negative 18 minus 10. So notice that it's easier to subtract a small number from a larger number than the other way around. So if I do that, I need to put a negative sign out the front, and that's equal to negative 8. So the answer is this option here. Question 17. There are 4 picture frames shown below. Which frame has the largest area? All 4 options are either rectangles or squares, so to find the area, we multiply the width by the length. So for the first option, we'll call that option A. It's 20 multiplied by 15, which is equal to 2 times 15 times 10, which is equal to 30 multiplied by 10, which is equal to 300. Option B, we have 25 multiplied by 10, which is equal to 250. Option C is 15 multiplied by 15, or 15 squared, which is 225. And option D is 24 multiplied by 8. 4 times 8 is 32. 8 times 2 is 16, plus 3 is 19, it's 192. So clearly, option A has the largest area. Question 18. A map of the huts in Genghis Khan's camp is drawn below. In what direction is Kublai's hut from Al-Thani's hut? The direction is measured from Al-Thani's hut. And here's Al-Thani's hut here, and here's Kublai's hut. So imagine we draw an arrow from Al-Thani's hut to Kublai's hut, and then comparing it to the compass rose, this is clearly in the northwest direction. So the answer is the first option, northwest. Question 19. The park run is a 5-kilometre fun run. Olive completes the park run in 35 minutes. Popeye runs at the same speed as Olive. How long will it take him to run 3 kilometres? It takes Olive 35 minutes to run 5 kilometres. Now Olive and Popeye run at the same speed, and we want to work out how long it's going to take Popeye to run 3 kilometres. So we can apply the unitary method to work out how long it takes Olive to run 1 kilometre and then multiply that value by 3. So 5 kilometres takes 35 minutes. To work out how long it takes to run 1 kilometre, we divide both of these values by 5. So 5 divided by 5 is 1. And 35 divided by 5 is 7. So 1 kilometre takes 7 minutes to run. So to work out how long it takes to run 3 kilometres, we'll multiply this value by 3 and this value by 3. So 1 times 3 is 3. And 7 times 3 is 21. So the answer is 21 minutes, the last option. Question 20. A table tennis club gathers data on its members and displays it in the graph below. How many members in the table tennis club are 50 or younger? The heights of these columns represent the number of people in each of these age groups. So from less than or equal to 20 years of age, right up to greater than 50 years of age. The question is asking for how many members there are in the table tennis club that are 50 or younger. So 50 or younger are represented by this column, but also the previous columns as well. So the number of people that are less than or equal to 20 years of age is 3, which is the height of the first column. The second column represents ages 21 to 30, and that's between 6 and 8, which is 7. The third column, there are 9 people aged between 31 and 40. And the fourth column, there are 4 people aged between 41 and 50. So adding these 4 values together, 3 plus 7 is 10, 9 plus 4 is 13, 10 plus 13 is 23. So the answer is this option here. Question 21. Emma works Monday till Friday. She gets the bus to work 4 days per week and catches the ferry on the other day. Today is a work day. What is the probability that Emma catches the ferry to work? Emma works Monday till Friday. That's 5 days per week. She gets the bus to work 4 days per week, and on the other day she catches the ferry. So the probability that Emma catches a ferry is 1 out of the 5 days. 1 over 5, which is 20%. So the answer is the last option. Question 22. Hunter drew a shape that is pictured below. He reflected the shape across the dotted line. He rotated it 90 degrees anti-clockwise. Which shape below shows what it looks like after this? The first step is to reflect the shape across the dotted line. So just going to sketch the reflection here. And it should look something like that. The next step is to rotate this shape 90 degrees anti-clockwise. So in that direction. So we should end up with a shape that looks something like this. So the answer is the last option. Question 23. Tika is a baker and sells 50 loaves of bread at the markets. Each loaf costs him $3.75 to make. He sells 40 loaves for $7.95 each. In the last hour of the market, he sells the last 10 loaves for $2.50 each. What is the total profit or loss of the 50 loaves? The first step is to work out how much it costs to make 50 loaves of bread. So the cost is 50 multiplied by $3.75 per loaf. And that equals $187.50. The next step is to work out the income. Now 40 loaves are sold at $7.95 each, plus the last 10 loaves at $2.50 each. So the income is 40 multiplied by 7.95 plus 10 multiplied by 2.50. And that equals $343. So clearly the income is greater than the cost, so we're comparing these two values. So the profit is equal to 343 minus $187.50, and that equals $155.50. So the answer is the second option. Question 24. Guthrie plotted the points A to F on a grid paper as shown below. She then joined some of the points together with lines. Which of these pairs of lines are parallel? Parallel means running in the same direction. Let's compare the four options. We have CD and EF. So there's CD and there's EF. Clearly not parallel. The next option is CE and AF. So there's CE and there's AF. Again, not parallel. The next option is BF and AE. So there's BF and there's AE. And they're not parallel. And the last option, BC and EF, we have BC here and EF here, and they are parallel. So the answer is the last option. Question 25. Which expression equals b to the power of 4? Powers represent repeated multiplication. So in this case, b to the power of 4 represents b multiplied to itself 4 times. So writing b to the power of 4 in expanded form, it's b times b times b times b. So the answer is this option here. Question 26. Manuel chooses a positive whole number under 5 and Basil has to guess what number it is. The probability that Basil chooses the right number is 25%. What is the probability that Basil chooses the wrong whole number? This is a probability experiment with two possible outcomes. Either Basil is right, and he's got a 25% chance of being right, or he's wrong. Now, the sum of the probabilities of all the outcomes must add up to 100%, which means that the probability that Basil chooses the wrong answer is 100% minus 25%, which is 75%. So the answer is 75%. Question 27. The prices of extra large family pizzas can be seen below. Each extra topping on the pizza costs the same amount of money. How much will a pizza with 4 toppings cost? The first step is to calculate the cost of one topping. And we can do that by choosing this pizza or this pizza and subtracting the cost of the pizza before it. So if we choose the pizza with 2 toppings, which is $41.50, and we subtract from that the cost of a pizza with 1 topping, which is $35, that equals $6.50. So the addition of a topping adds another $6.50 to the price of the pizza. So a pizza with 4 toppings is equal to the price of a pizza with 3 toppings, plus an extra topping, which is $6.50, and that's equal to $54.50. Question 28. Martin is designing a rectangular pool. He wants the pool surface to be at least 48 square meters. He has dug out 2 sides, each 8.3 meters in length. What is the smallest possible length of each of the other 2 sides, rounded to 1 decimal place? It may help to draw a diagram to represent this situation. The first thing we know is that Martin is designing a rectangular pool. So we'll sketch a rectangle. The next thing we know is that he wants the pool surface to be at least 48 square meters. So that's the area of the rectangle. And he wants that to be at least 48 square meters. Now he has dug out 2 sides, each 8.3 meters in length. So I'm going to note that on the diagram as well. So we want the smallest possible length of the other 2 sides such that the area is at least 48 square meters. So 8.3 multiplied by x is equal to 48. So we'll need to reverse this equation, make x the subject of the formula. So x is equal to 48 divided by 8.3, which will give us the minimum length needed, 48 divided by 8.3, and that gives us 5.783 meters. So we need that value or greater. So it can't be this option here, that's 5 meters, that's less than 5.783. Can't be 5.5 meters, because that's still less than 5.783. It could be either 5.8 meters or 6 meters, but the question is asking for the smallest possible length. So we need an option that is as close as possible to 5.783, but above it. And the closest option is 5.8 meters. So this is the correct answer. Question 29. Paris buys 18 kilograms of dog food for her wolfhound that costs $114.30. The dog food can be purchased in 1 kilogram bags. How much does 11 kilograms of the same dog food cost? This question may be answered using the unitary method. So we know that 18 kilograms of dog food costs $114.30. So we'll work out the price for 1 kilogram and then multiply that by 11 to get the price for 11 kilograms of dog food. So we're going to divide that value by 18 and divide that value by 18. So 1 kilogram is $6.35. So to work out the price for 11 kilograms, we'll multiply this value by 11 and this value by 11. And it's $69.85. So the price for 11 kilograms of dog food is $69.85. Question 30. Which of these is a hexagon? A hexagon is a six-sided polygon. A regular hexagon is a six-sided polygon where all sides are equal and all internal angles are equal. Let's have a look at the options. The first option has 7 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is a heptagon, so it's clearly not a hexagon. The second option has 5 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a pentagon. The third option has 6 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is a hexagon. Even though it's not a regular hexagon, it's a 6-sided polygon, which makes it a hexagon. And the last option has 8 sides. This is an octagon, and it's a regular octagon because all the sides are equal and all the internal angles are equal. So the answer is the third option. Question 31. A lane marking machine is painting lines on a new highway. It travelled 3 kilometres in 2 hours and 9 kilometres in 6 hours. Which graph best represents the distance travelled by the machine at any given time? The total distance travelled by the lane marking machine is 3 kilometres plus 9 kilometres, which is 12 kilometres, over a total time of 2 hours plus 6 hours, which is 8 hours. Travelling at the same rate, that's the same as the lane marking machine travelling 6 kilometres over a period of 4 hours, or 3 kilometres over a period of 2 hours. Now the graph which represents this situation is this graph here. On the x-axis, draw a vertical line where distance is equal to 6 kilometres until it strikes the diagonal line, and then from that point here, drawing a horizontal line across until it intersects with the y-axis, we can see that it intersects at time 4 hours. So the answer is this option here. Question 32. Bottles are put inside crates. The table below shows the number of bottles inside 5 crates. The weight of each bottle is 0.5 kilograms. What is the mean weight of each crate? The first step is to work out the total number of bottles, and we can do that by adding the values in the second column. So 17 plus 20 plus 24 plus 16 plus 18 is equal to 95 bottles. The next step is to work out the weight of those 95 bottles. So 95 bottles multiplied by 0.5 kilograms is equal to 47.5 kilograms. The final step is to work out the mean weight or the average weight of each crate. So 47.5 kilograms is distributed among 5 crates. So on average, that's 47.5 kilograms over the total number of crates, which is 5. And the answer is 9.5. So the mean weight of each crate is 9.5 kilograms. Question 33. There are 28 Year 7 students at a small high school. Each student is asked if they have a trampoline at home or not, and the results are recorded. 3/4 of the students answered yes. How many Year 7 students at the school have a trampoline at home? Three-quarters of the 28 Year 7 students surveyed have a trampoline at home. So we want to work out what 3/4 of 28 is. And we can work that out by starting off with the value 28, dividing it by the denominator, and that works out the value of 1/4 of 28, and then multiplying it by the numerator, which then gives us the value of 3/4. So 28 divided by 4 is 7. I'm going to multiply that by 3, and that equals 21. So 21 Year 7 students have a trampoline at home. Question 34. Ming bought 7 apples and 5 oranges. He used this calculation to work out the total cost. 5 times 70 cents plus 7 times 85 cents. How much did 1 apple cost? This calculation gives the total cost of buying 5 oranges and 7 apples. The first part of the calculation gives the cost of buying 5 oranges, so that's 5 oranges multiplied by 0.70, which is the cost of 1 orange, plus 7 apples multiplied by 0.85, which is the cost of 1 apple. And the question is asking for the cost of 1 apple, which is 85 cents. So this is the correct option here. Question 35. Which of these shapes has exactly 6 faces? A pentagonal prism has 7 faces. A triangular pyramid has 4 faces. A square pyramid has 5 faces. And a rectangular prism has 6 faces. So I'll just sketch it here. So we can see that it has a left, a right, a top, a bottom, a front, and a back. So the answer is the last option. Question 36. Andy collected data on 4 of his friends and recorded the results in the table below. How did Andy order his data? Looking at the name column and considering the first letter of each name, the names are not in alphabetical order. So Andy did not order his data by name. Looking at the age column, 13 is in the wrong place. So we have 12, 14, 16, 13 should have been placed between 12 and 14, so Andy did not order his data by age. Looking at the height column, we have 150, 154, 155, and 168. These four values are in ascending order, so Andy ordered his data by height. Considering the weight column, we have 42, 51, 48, 55. So 48 is in the wrong spot. That should have been placed between 42 and 51. So the answer is height. Andy ordered his data by height. Question 37. LeBron's right shoe is pictured below. His left shoe is a mirror image of his right shoe. Which of these is LeBron's left shoe? The left shoe is a reflection of the right shoe across the dotted line. I'm going to turn the image 90 degrees clockwise and then consider some of the main features, such as the location of these stars, so the large star and the smaller star. The larger star is closer to the dotted line, the smaller star is further away, and just the general shape of this shoe. Turn the image back the way it was. And the answer is the third option. Question 38. Stix wants to make 6 possum pies. Each pie needs 5 potatoes. He has no potatoes, so he goes to the shop. The shop sells potatoes in bags of 12. How many bags does Stix need to buy? The first step is to work out the number of potatoes needed to make 6 possum pies. So 6 possum pies multiplied by 5 potatoes per possum pie is equal to 30 potatoes. Now the shop sells potatoes in bags of 12. So we need to work out how many bags are required. So 30 divided by 12 is equal to 2.5 or 2.5. But potatoes are not sold in half a bag. They're sold in whole bags of 12. So the number of bags needed would have to be rounded up to 3, since half a bag will not be used. And 2 bags will only give us 24 potatoes, which won't be enough to make 6 possum pies. So the answer is 3 bags. Question 39. Rufus had 5 cups of pumpkin seeds to use for baking 2 loaves of pumpkin bread. He used 1 3/4 cups for the first loaf and 1 1/2 cups for the second loaf. How many cups of pumpkin seeds did Rufus have left? The first step is to work out the total number of cups used. So for the first loaf, 1 3/4 cups was used, and for the second loaf, 1 1/2 cups was used. To add these two mixed numerals together, we'll convert them first into improper form. So 1 3/4 is equal to 4 times 1 plus 3, which is 7 over 4, plus 1 1/2, which is 2 times 1 plus 1, which is 3 over 2. To add these two fractions together, we need to change the second fraction so that it has a denominator of 4. So we're going to multiply the second fraction by 2 over 2. And that equals 7 over 4 plus 6 over 4. And because the denominators are common, we can just add the numerators together. So that equals 13 over 4. Now there were 5 cups of pumpkin seeds to begin with, and 13 over 4 cups were used. So 5 minus 13 over 4 is equal to 5 over 1 minus 13 over 4. And we're going to multiply the first fraction by 4 over 4 so that the two fractions again have a common denominator. 5 times 4 is 20 over 4 minus 13 over 4. and 20 minus 13 is equal to 7 over 4. And to convert this improper fraction back into a mixed numeral, we work out how many whole times 4 goes into 7, which is 1 whole time with a remainder of 3. So 7 over 4 is 1 and 3 over 4 in mixed numeral form. So the answer is the first option, 1 3/4 cups left. Question 40. A shape pictured below is made up of 6 equilateral triangles. What is the perimeter of the shape? Equilateral triangles have equal sides. So if one of the sides is 4 centimeters and we want the perimeter of this shape, we want the distance around the outside. So the number of sides of this shape is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the perimeter is 4 centimeters multiplied by 6 sides, which is equal to 24 centimeters. So the answer is the third option. Question 41. Rufus made a sculpture. This is a drawing of the front view and the side view. Which of these is a correct top view? Considering the rectangle on the front view, if the side view is a circle, then this shape here is most likely a cylinder, which means the top view will also be a rectangle. Considering the circle here on the front view, the side view is the same circle, which means most likely this shape on the top is a sphere, which means the top view will also show a circle. So the correct top view will be this option here. Question 42. Renee has $5. A donut costs $1.20. How many donuts can Renee buy? This question may be answered without using a calculator. Renee has $5 and each donut costs $1.20. So we can count in lots of $1.20. So one donut will cost $1.20. Adding $1.20 to that, 2 donuts will cost $2.40. 3 donuts will cost another $1.20 more, which is $3.60. And 4 donuts will cost $4.80. And if we go to 5 donuts, that'll be $6, which is higher than $5. So the number of donuts that Renee can buy with $5 is 4 donuts. So the correct option is the second option here. Question 43. A circle is divided into 5 equal areas and labelled, as shown in the diagram below. What percentage of the circle's area has been labelled with an even number? Firstly, the circle is divided into 5 equal areas. So if the circle represents 100% of the area and is divided into 5 equal areas, each of these areas represents 20%. Now, out of these 5 areas, 2 of them have an even number. So the percentage of the circle's area that's been labelled with an even number is 20% multiplied by 2, which is 40%. So the answer is the fourth option. Question 44. A bag contains 10 coloured marbles. Sarah picks 3 marbles out of the bag at the same time. Which of the following results is impossible? Consider the first option, 3 pink marbles. Now the bag contains 4 pink marbles, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it is possible to pick 3 pink marbles. So the first option is incorrect. The second option, 2 red marbles and 1 green marble. Well, we have 1 green marble here, and there are 2 red marbles, so the second option is possible, which makes it incorrect because the question is asking for which result is impossible. The third option, 2 blue marbles and 1 green marble, is possible because we have 3 blue marbles to choose from, and there is 1 green marble. So the third option is incorrect. And 3 red marbles is impossible because there are only 2 red marbles to choose from, so it is impossible to choose 3 red marbles. So the answer is the fourth option. Question 45. A survey was conducted that asked children if they were left or right-handed and if they played cricket. The results are shown in the table below. How many children are right-handed and don't play cricket? The bottom row in the table gives us the number of right-handed children who either play or don't play cricket. But the question is also asking for the number of right-handed children who don't play cricket. So the bottom row gives us the number of right-handed children, but the second column gives us the number of children who don't play cricket. So the number of children who are both right-handed and don't play cricket is 33. So the answer is the fifth option. Question 46. Tigers sleep for an average of 15 hours each day. What fraction of the day is an average tiger awake? A day has 24 hours, and out of those 24 hours, tigers sleep for an average of 15 hours. Which means the number of hours that a tiger is awake is found by taking 24 and subtracting 15 from that, which is equal to 9. So the fraction of the day that an average tiger is awake is 9 out of 24 hours. So the answer is the fourth option. Question 47. Angelica draws a triangle in a semicircle and labels 4 angles as shown below. Which angle is closest in size to 60 degrees? "60 degrees is an acute angle, which is an angle less than 90 degrees. Now angle B looks like a right angle, which is 90 degrees, and angle D looks like an obtuse angle, which is an angle greater than 90 degrees. So out of the two angles, A or C, angle C is the one closest to 60 degrees. So the answer is option C. Question 48. Kate saved twice as much money as Patrick. If they saved a total of $42 between them, how much did Kate save? I'm going to start off by drawing a number line and then dividing the number line into 3 equal intervals. Now Kate saved twice as much money as Patrick, so each of these intervals represents an amount of savings. So 2 of those intervals belong to Kate and 1 of those intervals belong to Patrick, and they're equal intervals. Now in total, they saved $42 between them. So we need to work out the value of one of these intervals. So if we take 42 and divide that by 3, that equals $14. So each of these intervals represents $14. So Kate saved 14 plus 14, which is $28. So the correct answer is the third option.